So, Juwita, do you like rules or don't like rules actually?
You're listening to Jom Sembang Malaysia.
I'm a very goody girl. I don't know about you. Like, I give you time to think, right? I'm such a goody girl that if I come for studio recording here and then I cannot find a proper car park, but there's illegal car park like the yellow line, everybody's parking and all that, I'm so like goody that I die so won't park.
Yes. Actually, I'm also like that. So in a sense, yeah, I guess I follow the rules. I don't know whether I would say I like rules, although sometimes they're useful, they're helpful. But I'm quite a stickler lah to the rules lah.
Something like that lah. Because like for example, paying parking or like my dad would say, right, why pay 1 hour parking? We park 10 minutes only ma. But me it's like 10 minutes also I will pay. Like I very like you like follow rule.
Okay lah, but if 10 minutes, right? And I'm just walking down to buy something and then just coming out, and I can see the cars right in front of me, then I might not lah.
Okay. So but if not follow rule juga lah.
Tengok lah, feel scared lah.
Okay, so today I think one of the interesting thing I want to talk about is we might have touched it the first year of our podcast.
Okay.
Which is 100 episodes ago, right? But I don't remember diving too deep into it. So the idea of unspoken rules are things or principles that you know, even though no one sit you down to tell you about it. Like you probably learn through observation, or you probably learn growing up like, my parents always do this, so I just do, or something like that.
Okay.
It's not written down like the 10 commandments. Hey, this is the rule, okay?
Alright.
That's why it's called the unspoken, unwritten rule, because it's not documented or enforced as a law, okay? So these are some of the things that we'll be talking about. Let's start with something that we have spoken in an entire full episode before this, right? Okay, which is giving money to your parents the day you get your first job.
I remember this one. It was quite a hit that time.
Yeah, it's still quite a hit now, right? So like, where do we learn this concept? Or how do we learn this concept?
Yeah.
Maybe I ask you first lah. Like when you first give your parents money.
Yeah.
If you did or you whatever.
Yeah.
What inspired it or what triggered it? Was it hey, you must give me money, or you just give, or what was it like?
Now suddenly I don't know, no? Like you say lah, it's unspoken. Then I'm thinking, how I know this
But you did like your own self-initiative lah.
I did, yeah. I kind of knew that it was something I should do. But if you ask me where the seed was planted right now, I cannot really remember. Like, how did this seed got planted in my head, right? Like you said, it's unspoken, right? So how did I know? Maybe I saw people doing lah.
So I think the next question is, this question a bit hard for you. Did you see your parents doing it?
No.
That's why. So like for me, right, I actually don't see my parents doing it. And I don't think they do it because my grandma is the one who would tell me which of her children give her money and not. Yeah, but she's the one that really so-called got speak a bit about it lah.
Okay.
Like not like a Gina sit you down, you must give money kind of thing.
Yeah.
But as I was growing up, she would always say, my children always give me money every month because it's just the way it is and stuff like that. Or how before she got married, she also give her parents lah. When she worked, she gave her parents. So it was through all these stories that when I got my first job, I knew how to just give my parents without them asking.
Yeah. So I remember now. Yes. Okay. So it wasn't that I didn't see my parents doing it because I've never met my grandparents. They kind of all passed away before I was born, right? Except for my dad's stepmom, who also was based in Indonesia. So it's not something that is a real thing in my life. Living with grandparents or having grandparents around is just not a thing that was in my life. But I remember because my mother used to tell me about her nephew who would always give his mom pocket money lah.
Correct.
Every time he got his pay lah. So I think that would have been the first recollection of it. Yeah.
So I think it's quite interesting because this giving money to parents thing is not a race-based habit or culture.
I guess.
I find that generally in Asia, most of the children do it lah.
Okay.
From Chinese, Malay, Indian, there is this somehow this value instilled in us that we must support the elders lah, or elders in our family lah. So yeah, that's the easiest unspoken rules that I can think of, right? The other one that is very interesting is how, for example, you meet someone elder than you, and you know immediately to call them abang, kakak, auntie, uncle.
Yes.
Like you don't even think twice.
Yes.
Compared to like other countries, it's different lah. The Western people don't go around calling people
Oh, yeah,
uncle,
they just call
auntie.
people by name.
Correct.
Yeah, that particular one is ingrained in me too much already. So I was in Barrio, right, last week, and then I was talking to this lady. She came out, and I wasn't sure whether she was somebody I met earlier,
Okay.
or whether it was the first time I had seen her, because, you know, like new place and then everything. So I started calling her auntie lah. Talk already. Then she says, oh, you just went up the mountain. And then yeah, she said, oh, I've never been up there, you know, like sudah tua lah sekarang, like cannot climb lah. And like, oh, I said, but you don't look old, you know. And then she said, no, saya sudah 40 lebih. And I'm like, oh, oops. I cannot call her auntie, right? Because we like sebaya, right? We're like peers. But it's so normal for me to accident. Even my mom does it. My God, my mom is 89.
Oh, yeah. Your mom does it all the time.
And then I'm like, hello, you cannot call this person. She's like 10 years, 20 years younger than you. Are you calling her auntie, uncle, right? But you habit, you know, then you don't realize that you are getting older.
Correct.
And
it's
then,
true.
actually, I don't know whether you start to put people off because they're like, why are you calling me auntie? But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting in that sense. But also, we call them uncle, auntie out of respect.
True.
So it's interesting to know that Malaysians actually have
Respectful people?
Yeah, respectful people lah. We don't go around like, hey. Or I mean, sometimes now people do lah. But our first instinct normally is, you see a senior man, you don't go around, man. Or, you know, it's quite easy to call uncle. Even like, for example, by this easy respect is like people who working with us. Let's say the guards, security guard or cleaners. When they see you, regardless whether you are male or female, boss. Or like, but it's not like calling you in a boss manner. It's a casual calling that has respect.
Correct.
And I think overall, Malaysia people has that kind of respect instilled in us. That starts from these small things. But how is it that it blows up to no respect as you go bigger things lah? But yeah, there's another topic altogether. Yeah.
Okay.
So these are the first two things that just to warm us up on the topic. So can you think of any unspoken rules that you have been doing, and when someone else don't do it, you're like, why you didn't know one? Like, what do you mean you don't know one? Or what do you mean does it exist? Or like, yeah.
I think for me, related to the one earlier, right, where you call people with a kehormatan, I don't know in English what's the name for it. It's also when you see somebody who walks into the room who is elder than you. And then I think my first response is always to call first. Like, oh, auntie, hello, how are you? You know, acknowledge their presence in the room. I think for me that is quite an unspoken rule. But I don't know, it's mostly kind of courtesy things. So the ideas that are coming to my head now is like, oh, tumpang jalan, if you're walking in front of somebody.
Correct.
I wouldn't just walk in the middle of a conversation, you know. And
elaborate the tumpang jalan.
Tumpang jalan. Okay, so tumpang means like borrow, right? Jalan is the way. So if I'm actually just walking past somebody's face.
Okay, so like for example, your parents are sitting at the couch watching TV and you need to cross between the TV and
crossing,
that.
yes, that's the word. Thank you.
Yeah, so that is the tumpang. So normally back then, I can understand we will always kind of bend down a little bit.
Yes.
And say, excuse me.
Correct. Actually, we do the Melayu culture thing, which is you put your hand like kind of like down and you like create a path with your hand.
And
then
like,
you
sorry.
Yeah.
But current generation, or even now, I won't even say current generation. Even now, right? Because so it's a little bit like the process of where you bend down, right? And then you just cross sometimes with your hand, without your hand. You're like, excuse me. Not like, excuse me, really interruptive. So it's just sometimes not even spoken words. It's just...
It's the manner in which you...
The body language.
Yeah, you cross respectfully lah.
Correct. But it's something that a lot of people don't do now, that even I myself don't do it. Because it's like, it's out of my mind. It slipped my mind already. Yeah, so like back when I was younger, yes. I think we do it quite often. It's also because every time you don't do it, then your parents or my grandmother will go like, hey, move lah, you think you're transparent one the TV.
Yes,
so then you start to have this, sorry, I passed by, sorry, I passed by kind of thing.
Yeah.
But nowadays don't have really, because even your parents thinks that they are transparent one.
Maybe it's in a generation now or a season now where people just claim their space. I don't care lah if I'm blocking you, just cross ma. It's like my right to cross. Why worry whether I'm blocking your view or not? I don't know. Could be.
Could be. I don't know. Of course, that rule for a long time, I don't think I've been implementing for a long time.
I still do, okay.
Besides the fact that I live alone, but when I do go to my parents' place, I don't see us doing it lah. It's just you want to quickly walk instead of like making a fuss of like, tompang. Then they're like, just walk already lah. I want to watch TV. So it became a bit like a disappearing unspoken words rule lah. Yeah. But it's interesting. I think the most common one for most Asian houses is to remove your shoe when you enter the house.
Yes.
I think that was what was shocking to me when I went to Australia to visit is they wear their shoes everywhere inside the house.
And then they tell you, please don't
remove the shoe. So
it's almost like by removing my shoes, I'm making the house dirtier. Right?
Something like that. So it's quite interesting because in Malaysia, we really do remove our shoes before we enter the house lah.
Yeah.
So like this one is unspoken rule. So what happened is my mom, she actually have feet problem.
Okay.
So she wears a cast. And the cast might not have a shoe. Or rather, there's a shoe but it's attached to the cast lah.
Okay.
So we rarely go visiting because she always finds it like, if I go people's house, I need to remove. But it's like a whole cast and the shoes attached. It's not like I can remove my shoe and walk my cast, that kind of thing. So she will always make sure that her cast, that shoe, is clean all the time. And then when she go in, we will always ask for permission.
Right.
Like we say,
explain lah.
My mom cannot. Can she just wear the shoe in? Or if she cannot, can you give her a bench to remove the entire cast and shoe, and then she'll come in, but later she have to put it back on. So that is when I realized that before we even go to a house, the unspoken rule already telling you like, this is a potential challenge.
Yes.
Or problem, which is quite interesting. It's like the homeowner didn't even give that pressure to you. Why are you sitting at home thinking about it before you even visit someone, you know?
True.
But do you even wear socks inside the person's house?
I do. So when you're talking about what you think about before, right? Sometimes I'm like, am I going to somebody's house that I have to take out socks or not take out socks? And that even actually just determines what shoe I wear because yes, I overthink everything.
So like how I decide what shoe to wear when I come to the studio recording because we have to take off shoe.
Something like that lah.
Yeah, something like that lah. So like I've witnessed two different rules about it.
Okay.
Some people say, please don't wear socks in my house. Because it's slippery, you might fall. But then they also say that your sock is cleaning their house lah.
Okay.
So they said, just don't wear lah. We feel bad about it. Another one is like, you wear socks better because I might have dust, then it stick to your feet. So I don't know lah. So in our house so far, normally is, I think my family culture, a lot of us do remove our socks lah.
Okay.
Because by wearing your socks, you are also bringing dust into people's house.
Okay.
It's our understanding lah. So we will just remove. But I know some friends who go to a extent of, for example, if they're wearing shoes, they come in, the first thing they do is say, can I go and wash my feet at your house?
Okay.
Yeah, so that, I don't dirty your house or whatever.
Actually, that is a very ancient practice, right? Where people used to like walk everywhere. And they don't have covered shoes. And the first thing you would do is wash your feet outside before you come in. You know what I do? My unspoken rule? I wash my hands.
Oh.
Yeah. So I used to do this if I was going to touch an instrument in the house, for example.
Okay.
So let's say I walk into your house. Got a very nice grand piano there. I cannot help it.
Okay.
Then I'll be, can play ah. And then usually the host will say, yeah, sure. I'll go wash my hands first. And then they're probably like, why ah? I'm like, I don't want to like,
leave
contaminate. Your piano's so nice. So I would do that. Lately, since COVID, I have made it even more intentional to wherever I go, I just like wash my hands with soap first when I actually even go to a friend's house.
I actually think washing hands is still not so bad. Washing feet is something that can be yes and no to the owner.
Yeah, because you're going to dirty, not dirty, but like wet the floor.
Wet the floor, correct. I mean like at the toilet dry, then suddenly got people wash it.
It depends where you wash, right? Probably it'll be in a guest bathroom, which is going to be dry. So depends.
Quite interesting that some of the things are starting to change lah. But talking about visiting someone, my family culture, again, unspoken rules, is every time we visit someone must bring something one.
Yes, I noticed that.
Even the smallest thing, it could be like, on the way, tapau, bobo, chacha.
Yeah.
Or like definitely bring something, either food, fruits, or an item of something.
Yeah.
And it's not so much the amount spent. It's a gesture lah.
Yeah.
So that's something that my family does.
Okay.
Which can be quite elaborated when it comes to Chinese New Year.
Oh.
Like, every time you visit someone during Chinese New Year period, it must be 2 orange or 3 orange or whatever is it.
Yeah.
Like, it must be a Chinese New Year item. And you must give. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the Chinese New Year thing, is something that is new to us. Because, okay, so the Chinese, I don't know, is it a Cantonese thing? You bring the orange because it's like symbolizing prosperity or good wishes or something, good luck kind of
So
thing.
for us, I realized that we're already bringing things to people on a normal basis. So Chinese New Year is just making it Chinese New Year goodies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But specifically why everybody brings 2 oranges, I think that was definitely not something that was in our culture, which is the Baba Nyonya culture. We never brought things. Actually, I don't know what we brought. Never brought anything. You just ang pao only, give or collect, right?
Okay.
That was the only thing I can think of.
But
and then suddenly the orange thing
is,
came.
The ang pao thing is, do you mean that the children get the ang pao or what? Or do you mean the host get the ang pao?
No. I'm just saying the children get the ang pao. It's not
so
that
like
we give.
During Chinese New Year, we also put an ang pao for the host.
Yeah. Okay.
And then in return, during Chinese New Year only lah.
Yeah.
The host before we leave will give us a packet of goodies. It's like we exchange goodies like that lah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that one is now it has become an unspoken rule in the sense that you bring the orange, but it's something that was never in our culture. And until now, when we go, so the whole family is actually this one bukan cara kita lah, tapi we just do because some people expect it. I
think in general most Chinese people do lah. It's during Chinese New Year time, but on a normal time, yes. Normally, for example, if someone invited us to the house to eat, normally you will bring fruits or dessert or something. That's normally the culture. But I think with my peers, the generation, they said don't bring lah. I prepare everything. So it kind of kill that gesture because you bring something and they say, it doesn't fit into my overall menu of things. Or they prefer something more direct where they ask you, you want to bring ice cream. So it becomes very, there's a gracefulness about unspoken rules. Where you do it out of respect or you do certain thing and it's like, so nice one. But it's very different if you are like, if you're bringing something, bring ice cream. You know, or then it becomes something like, I don't want to bring anything now. I have to bring something.
Correct.
Okay?
Or I have to go and find the ice cream. Or the ice cream is bigger than my budget. You know?
Something like that. So it becomes a little bit less graceful.
In a way, okay, so this bringing things to the house is something that I only remember when I arrive at the house. So end up, I never bring anything because, again, it is something that is kind of new to me. I've seen people do it. I'm like, these people are a nice one, huh? But it never occurred to me that it's something that all of us should be doing lah. Okay, so until now, it's almost like the idea is there, but it hasn't saturated into who I am yet because it's not something that I grew up doing.
But it's also because currently the times we don't visit people's house as often as the older generation does. Last time, you meet up with your friend, you go to the friend's house, ding dong. Then you
bring you something.
Yeah, no, like you go and hang out with them at their house one. Not like now, we go and hang out. Let's go shopping mall. Or let's go.
Maybe that is where also is the difference. Because, okay, let's say you go and visit your friends, right? Then I bring this, we're going to have snack, right? Or like last time you go and see the uncle, auntie, go and play mahjong. They will sure bring goreng pisang. Because it is going to add to the whole vibe of the thing, right? Okay, so if I see my parents go visit last time, my father is a pastor. So it's a pastoral visit in a sense that they come and bring prayers and blessings for you. Okay. That is what they bring, or they'll bring like communion or things like that lah. So I think that is probably why it's different for me. When I see, we go and visit somebody, it's more of that kind.
It's so funny leh. The pastor that I follow, we will always bring a gift one. Yeah, a flower or something. Like you cannot visit people empty-handed.
Interesting.
So that it shows that you really thought about them before coming in and not like, ding dong, I decided to pass by. Have a little bit more intention or so-called sincerity of showing that sincerity. But it's also because when we visit someone, we trouble the person. Like maybe people have to clean their house lah, or maybe people have to make sure the house got no other people that they're shouting kids or whatever like that. So a gesture of saying, I appreciate you for allowing us to enter your house or whatever. And sometimes they serve food or whatever. So this is like, I give you back already, your gesture. Yeah, more of that, I think, my understanding of.
So it's something that is kind of new to me that I'm trying to like, should bring something, But most of the time it's already too late. You're already, okay, 5 o'clock already now. It's like, fucking already and too late.
So I still practice that if I'm visiting a house.
Yeah.
But if I'm just picking up a friend, I don't. Like,
Yeah lah.
it's not considered visiting.
Okay.
Unless that friend I visit 5 times a week lah, then I don't really. It's like another house to me lah.
Oh.
Yeah. But if it's like, let's say once every month or something, the intention of still bringing something is still quite
I do
strong.
that for my godparents. I don't know why. When I go and visit them, I tend to want to bring something sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes, yeah.
So it's more of that lah for me lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other unspoken rule that really happens, actually a lot of unspoken rule happens across the dining table.
Mm-hmm.
I think I notice a lot of my other friends or you, like, what y'all do is like y'all sit down and then wait for the food to be served and then ask the elder one to eat first. This is something that my family do not practice.
Okay.
Because since we were young, the older elders were always cooking. They say, don't wait for me lah, just sit down and eat first. I bring out the last bowl of soup. Start. We are more of the don't let your food go cold.
Okay.
If I have to wait for everyone to sit down and settle down, then the food might be cold. So it's more of that, like, sit down, as long as everyone knows that dinner is served, then we just eat lah.
Okay.
More of that. And then even if the extreme we go is wait for everyone to gather at the table. But not everyone to be ready to like, you eat. So far, not quite. But I know it's something that my friends do lah.
My culture lagi better, okay? You have to call everybody's name first. Okay lah, I do it generally Chinese New Year, but no, actually every time is like you call by the elders first. I quite old-fashioned lah, sometimes go mood. But yeah, you call from the elders. So let's say JD makan, Gina makan, then we eat. So by the time everybody call, right? Take some time already.
Correct. So I think
you can't do that until everybody's seated.
I've seen it happening lah, but not with my family.
Okay.
Unless we have someone else at the table that is not our family that doing it, then we just quite rare do we address.
So the question is this: if it's my unspoken rule, and for example you don't have that unspoken rule, and we're at the same table together, then comes the question of, is one considered rude, or should we just don't judge because people have different backgrounds?
Well, it depends on the intensity or the deepness of the relationship or friendship at the table lah.
I guess.
And also the maturity of a person.
Because it's going to be different, right? So for example, you always, let's say we went to a house to makan. You would bring a gift. I didn't bring a gift, So already you 1 point, I negative 1 point. Let's say you count like that.
Juwita very competitive.
Let's say like that. And then after that, you're eating already. And then in that same family, there's the culture of waiting for everybody. But you never wait, so you just wait, only eat, right? Then they're like, but then you already balance lah, because just now you bring gift
But actually, people like us, when we are with a group of, let's say, a dinner, like, let's say it's your friends gathering or whatever, right? Unless it's close friends, right? Chances of us waiting, it will be that one.
Why?
Because it's respect lor.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a mutual respect that, people serve, then you just eat, man. People at the host, you should sit down, wait for the host to at least join you first.
So it depends on the level of comfortability.
Yeah, but unless you are like super friend that is like, you're forever waiting one, then you're forever asking me to eat first one, then
okay.
No lah.
Faham je lah.
Yeah, but if I'm in a social environment where, say, I meet my parents' friend at their house, chances are we will all wait for the host one. It's a very general practice for us lah.
Okay.
Yeah, but we won't call the host uncle eat, auntie that one. We still don't do lah. Okay. Everybody sit down already. Then after that she said, okay, eat just eat lah.
Okay.
But there are also certain small gestures that we would do. Is, for example, if it's a Chinese dining experience. Then we will normally take food for our left and right if they are elder than us.
Yeah.
So that's something that we still do lah.
Okay, yeah.
So that's something. And then the other thing, this one happening quite crazy lately lah. Okay. You go to a cafe or the restaurant full of people.
Yeah.
And then you finish eating already.
Yeah.
Then what do you do?
Full of people.
Like, got people lining up.
Then I will try and vacate lah.
See, most of us will try to vacate. But if you look at the restaurant, coffee shop nowadays, people don't. Back then, if you don't, I remember back then, as in when I was a kid lah, if you don't, like, you finish eating, the moment you want to just chill, then your mother say, hey, you better get out now, Otherwise, you're very rude for taking out the table space.
Oh, my mother does that all the time.
Now, it's just sit down there and like, rude, so never, la. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? But your mother, different case. Your mother want to do everything fast one.
Correct.
So
that's what I'm saying.
does not apply to normal people.
Okay. For me, there are 3 scenarios. Okay, one is if there's nobody, I will just sit lah. So I can sit there a long time doing work even. 2 is I will look around. If there's at least one more empty table, I will still feel comfortable sitting down, but I will keep an eye out for it.
Okay. Fair enough.
And then of course, if it's like totally packed and we can go, then we will go. But if we're actually there to have a conversation, sometimes we catch up lah, and you happen to pick a place that is a little bit crowded during lunchtime. I might not hurry my friend to get up and go because in a way you already, how to say,
have a purpose.
You have a purpose, you are there for a reason. You don't want to just eat and run.
That's the interesting thing. Back then, people who want to talk,
don't go to cafe.
Correct.
They go where? They go
to houses lah.
But now people don't do that, you see. So the
Yeah.
cafe is the place, or the restaurant is the place where you talk. So sometimes I will also weigh lah, because there will be other people who are also sitting and talking.
Correct.
So
but then
it's like-
doesn't mean that other people are selfish, that we
Correct.
have to
So-
be selfish.
No, yeah, but that's why I would wait. I would
Okay.
wait and see how long the fella waiting. Is it just a few minutes? Then let them wait a few minutes. Maybe I
Okay.
also have to wait to
Fair
sit
enough.
down. But if it's like, I wouldn't hog the table and indiscriminately so that awareness is there then after I'll be like, hey, maybe we adjourn somewhere go have coffee somewhere, or
Yeah.
if that possibility is there Or sometimes the fella sharing their heart out to you like, wow, so trauma already. Then I cut them and say, sorry, I got people waiting. So have to wait also lah.
So let's finish up the one talking about food and eating together. I think the one thing that really, the unspoken rule that I don't know how to teach my brother is, if you are sharing, let's say, meals you must take your portion fair share lah. You get what I mean? You have fast eater, you have slow eater. Fair share was something that, I don't know, I grew up with it.
Okay.
Like when we are at the dining table, if there's 5 pieces of chicken, 5 people each share 1 piece.
Yeah.
Or if there's 10 pieces, each share 2 pieces. Like
Yeah.
you just
Do the
automatically
math.
know, right?
Yeah.
But my brother will not.
Because he's
a bit special, but then
He's
you-
mathematically not impaired, what? So
Yeah, but then it reached a point where sometimes you think like, great example,
yeah.
5 of us,
Yeah.
5 pieces of chicken, he will whack 3.
Okay.
He will take 3 and then he will look at it and he won't, in his brain, see that someone is not getting
He will take
any
3 like
on the first scoop.
oh.
So there are people like that. I mean, considering
Yeah,
that my
yeah.
brother might not be able to capture or understand the whole thing
Yeah.
because he's special needs.
Yes.
But he's not like entirely that special needs
Yeah.
to not understand it.
Okay.
But I'm seeing a lot of people, sorry to say the alpha generation. They just like scoop what they want.
Mhm.
In fact, at the table, they are hardly present one at the dining table. And then they go like, oh, chicken come, I want 5 pieces, take. Then remaining 5 pieces, you all 5 first share. Like there is no conscious or awareness that, hey, it's a sharing plate.
Yeah.
And if all of us are paying, makes it even worse that
Yeah.
you should really have a fair share of things.
Yeah.
Unless the other person say, oh, you can eat my share or something, then
I think that one is upbringing lah.
really.
So to them, the unspoken rule is, I take however much I want. That is the unspoken rule. Maybe because in the family, their parents, you eat how much you want, just take.
Yeah, but I think it's something that should be taught to the next generation lah.
Depends
Because-
who's going to teach. It's like if in their family is the way,
It has to start with the
So
family,
you- but to the family is, you want to take 3, take it.
But what would the parents feel if it happens in front of 10 other families?
Hey, you'll be surprised A lot of parents are like, my kid first. You never take first your problem We win no?
So actually, some of the unspoken rule we have good benefits, but currently with the generation or with the things that are changing around us, the way we live or the way we are culturally different now, the unspoken rule have changed to something that might not be better, but worse.
I think it reflects your disposition. So your entire outlook in life and your values. are reflected in this unspoken rules lah, I think lah.
Yeah, true. So, okay, come, let's take a break and then we will leave the restaurant. I don't know why we end up talking about food so much, but there's so many unspoken rules when it comes to makan-makan lah.
Today's episode is brought to you by Joy Luck Penang. Joy Luck, also known as Joy 6, is a very unique place to hang out. They welcome you to bring your favorite food and order beverages from them, or simply enjoy their cafe menu, especially the signature nasi ulam. So that way, best thing about this place is you can bring your pets to chill out with you. So if you're in Penang, remember to check out Joy Luck in Tanjung Bunga.
Okay, this is some very interesting stuff, but I can see you want to say something. Come on, let you say first.
Never mind. Go.
No, I think the other thing that has a lot of unspoken rule that currently have not been passed down to the next generation all has to do with cars.
What?
Yeah, cars, for example, right? Since I'm young, when my parents drive and some other cars give way to them, they will wave.
Oh, yeah.
Just lift up the hand.
Thank you,
just to signal.
you.
Yeah, correct. You don't see that anymore nowadays. Like I remember back then, even motorcycle, if we let them pass, right, the driver will like that. Or if we don't let them pass, they actually signal to you that they want to turn, and we respect that gesture and let them turn.
I thought you said you don't let them pass, they show you a different signal.
No, so it's like they give you a wave to show that I'm crossing or something. And back then, I find that the people around or the community around, they really respected those kind. Now the motorbike fella wave to say the fella want to go left. Oh no, wait, drive closer, don't let him turn, you know. Now it's happening more, you know. Back then it's not like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what is the unspoken rule now. If you're driving, right, and then you see a signal. Obviously the fella wants to masuk, right? He's saying, please may I enter? So you, okay lah, you let the fella masuk lah. Now, the motorbike is like they've got a barricade on their own. No? The cars will let you go. So you put a signal already. You want to change lane? Because you need to change lane. Malaysian roads, you need to change lane, right?
Unless you reach nowhere.
Correct. So once you signal, then suddenly you see this barricade of motorbikes coming, right? It's almost like, what's this guy trying to like kill us or break us or you know, break our line or something? Then they start honking at you. Then you're like, oh, so I cannot go. So I literally turn off the signal. Let all the motorbike pass first and hope it's not too late by the time I feel intimidated, you know, almost every twice a week I feel like that. So I don't know, it's like the unspoken rule now for me is you see motorbike coming, you just don't signal because don't traumatize yourself. Wait for them to pass, give them the way first, treat them like king, and then only you go and do what you need to do after that.
That's why I really like the older generation on the road. Like for example, even in their car, right, you would think that just signal lah, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes they signal already, then they just wave to you from the car and say, can you slow down because I signal already?
Yeah.
And then they turn and then they thank you again.
Correct.
It's so much politeness last time on the road.
So
now it's like horrible.
It's still there, you know. It's not, I think it's a city thing where you become impersonal, you are in a rush, it's you first. So just now I said I just came back from Barrio, right? So Barrio is in the highlands of Sarawak lah, in case you don't know. A lot of people thought it's Baguio in Philippines. No. This is Sarawak, okay? So I got into this car with a friend. And then I realized, right, everybody she passed, right, she angkat tangan and like, hello. It's just like a wave, you know. Then I'm like, so I said, wow, you know everybody here. Then she said, no. He's just being polite. So actually you don't know them, you know them, also you just angkat tangan. Then they know like, you local like that. Then I'm like, oh, so I also like, maybe I should try. Just pass, just lift up your hand because they cannot see, right? I'm like lifting up my hand and like, hi. But that's the unspoken rule there, right? So different countries, different. So Barrio, that's what they do. They just raise the hand. Remember in India, you were telling, they honk.
Yeah, they honk.
Yeah, they honk. And then I remember where was this? Cairo, even in Cairo, and this was what, maybe 20 years ago, right?
Okay.
We asked the cab driver, coming from the airport to our hotel. I was asking the cab driver, why is everybody honking? And he's like, no, my friend, I'm just saying hello.
Yeah.
So that is the culture where you honk, not to say, you got my lane, I'll kill you, but it's, hi, hello, you go first.
Actually, that happens a lot in Penang, you know.
Is it?
When I first went to Penang for the 1 year I was there, I find that the motorbike fellas always honk But then I will get panic like motorbike, you get panic because sometimes you scared you cannot see them, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, very stressful, They honk, then they turn up next to you and all that. And then I start to feel like, can you just chill lah? You want to potong lah, you don't honk me, And then my Penang fella says, actually they just honk to tell you they are near you.
Ooh.
Then you imagine how many motorbikes on the road. So it's not like you drive 1 km, you get 1 honk, you might get like 5 honk. Then you start to feel like something wrong with my car.
Hey, now I wonder, maybe all those Penang people came to KL and that's what they're doing now, is it?
Honk
Could be, maybe they're not scolding me, they're just saying, hey, I'm here. I don't know. If you're a motorcyclist, please go and drop a comment and please tell me.
But of course, there is the kind of honk lah. The one in Penang is always like, teet, teet, like put, like no, not
True lah, but the honk now different, right? My honk also, I use it so rarely, right? Sometimes I just want to toot, but it's like, pop, oops.
But yeah, so there are the kind of things that's happening that can be misunderstood if you don't look at the context lah.
True.
I put it that way lah. So I remember back then when we blocked someone's car, my dad will always take a piece of paper and write the number. And then put at the
phone
dashboard.
number.
Yeah, phone number. Put at the dashboard. And then she will say, sit outside where I can see the car.
This one is a current unspoken rule, which is not so current anymore.
So back then, it was already there.
Yeah.
Now, it's like, I just block your car, no number, nothing. And then you horn like crazy. The person is not even aware that the car. And I'm like, why like this one? Like, don't you have an unspoken rule that when you block a person's car, you should make yourself available to remove the inconvenience immediately. Instead of like, that's why you see a lot of viral reels the last time of how people like, the car didn't come and then all the pedestrians come and push the car aside.
Oh yeah, man.
Or like so that they can remove the car and it reached that extent,
Okay, but unspoken rules, again, in different country, different.
Okay.
I was cannot remember which country now, but I noticed in the airport punya car park, right? Very strange, People park, okay, like our lots, let's say it's all diagonal, horizontal like that, right?
Okay.
And then there's cars that are parked on opposite of horizontal. So they are facing not parallel to your car,
like the L shape like that.
Kind of, but behind your car. So like T-shape, right? And they all parked like that. And then I thought, what if people need to go? I mean, this airport, is not like in front of your cafe or your thing where you can actually see. There's nobody there to see nothing, no?
Okay.
Then they told me, here, they don't put the brakes on. So if you need to move your car, they just push off. So the unspoken rule is you can block. Just don't put your handbrakes.
Actually, the same applies to our church.
Really?
Some churches, their parking is so small
that
you already know if you're the first to go in, you're the last to come out.
Yes.
It's got to block all the way. Again, no handbrake. But sometimes it's so tight that you can't even push.
Betul lah. So, then I wonder why if the last car that you push really goes down the hill, then push.
So the unspoken rule in some of these churches is, you come early, you may not expect to be the last one to leave. Otherwise, please don't come early or don't park the inner one.
Yes, of course. So if you're parking the inside one, you pandai-pandai lah. Okay, I'm
Correct.
first in,
then don't
last
complain
out,
about
then
it.
I park inside. Correct,
the idea about unspoken rule is something there that might be convenient or inconvenient for some people, but you're not supposed to complain about it because it's an unspoken rule lah.
Yeah. It's almost like paham-paham je lah. You kind of know lah.
Correct. You just understand how it works lah.
Okay, I have what I wanted to ask just now is this. Sometimes you are new to a culture. So this again happened to me up in Barrio, right? So I have Kalabit friends. I have Sarawakian friends. I have friends from the kampong, but I've never, as far as I remember, I've never really been to a Sarawakian kampong.
Okay.
So then it suddenly struck me, and this happened to me the first time I had lunch in a Malay friend's house also. Suddenly I realized, right, like I don't really know the unspoken rules here. I have friends, but this is the first time I'm in their house. So me again, being the overthinker, I'm like, how then do I navigate? Like, do I just make myself comfortable? Or how can I, like, do I watch other people? But do other people also know the rules? You know what I mean? So in this case, the host was not there yet and they told us, okay, this is the place you're going to stay. Then we're like, then how? Do we just like, they say, but the rooms are inside there. So, like, now what? Do we go in? Do we sit outside and wait? Or it's like a homestay anyway? So that was the first half of the thing. So eventually, that was when I started to realize I am in a space where I don't really know what the unspoken rules are because obviously they are unspoken.
Yep.
Part 1. Survive lah. Okay, they seem fine. Anyway, I'm foreigner, so... Then the second part of it was when you go to the pedalaman.
Okay.
This is something that I kind of know but didn't experience, right? They will give you a lot of things.
Okay.
So already somebody told me, oh, bring back the rice. Make sure you bring back Barrio rice, Highland rice. So I'm like, oh, okay. Then I'm thinking, we don't eat a lot of rice. The most also I bring back some packs to give away. So at the pemberian kasih, so at the end of the event, there is a acknowledgements and thank you for your guests and the speakers and whatever, right? There's always the handshake. Then they gave us a bag, okay? Inside the bag, I'm like, ooh, this bag is heavy. First thing I'm taking the bag is, I'm thinking, I have 10 kg, you need to come home. Right, as in the flight luggage.
Correct.
My bag is already 7 kg, but I can check in. But all that is already racing through my mind, right? I'm thinking, oh no, which is another unspoken rule, right? If you know your guest is flying, but never mind, that one after. So then, okay, so I had a big pack of rice, 2 smaller packs of rice. You know how heavy rice is, right? And then some other things. Okay, fine. So that was my first oh no, how? Okay? And then I'm walking away. Another lady comes and gives me another 2 bags of rice. It's like at least 1 kg each. And she's like, yo, I brought this for you, thank you so much for coming. And it's coming from the heart. So I'm thinking, okay, I can manage this. I can do this. I will have to figure it out. Okay, so I go off already. And I don't know this lady. So obviously I'm not going to say, sorry, I cannot take it. Because I don't know her. Okay. Comes another one of our, she's not really from there, but she's kind of like one of the organizers lah. Okay. Then she said, oh, I'm supposed to pass you this from the friend that was waving to everybody in the car, that same friend, right?
Okay.
So, kira friend already lah, because we've met her before, we know her, she's a friend's sister, kind of got a relationship going, and she also lived in Miri or KL before, so I would think, I think this one, I looked at what it was another bag of rice. So it's one bag slightly bigger than the individual 2, right? But slightly bigger. And I'm going, oh, it's like over already. I'm like, I really appreciate this, but can I really manage to take 1 more bag of rice, right? And so I'm thinking, what's the right thing to do here? Is it okay to tell her, by the way, actually, I already have 3 packs. At least 3 kgs plus another 2 smaller kgs, which you told me the small one is already probably going to be 1 kg. So I don't know how many kgs I was carrying, right? Is it okay or not okay to tell her, this is going to be tough. I don't know if I can manage. And I already have 2. Would it be rude? Would it be
My question
abrasive?
Would be, how long do you contemplate or weigh this situation?
I was already going back that same day.
Like how
So this
long
was the
was that
morning.
thinking? Yeah.
She wasn't there to take right, she wasn't there. She passed it to somebody else. So I was asking the person who passed it to me, who is one of the organizers, right? And then she said, macam maybe boleh lah. But she also wasn't sure, right? Maybe she will understand.
Oh, quite interesting. Because what I would do, I think it's more of a character thing. There's the unspoken rule, of course.
Yeah.
Of everyone giving you rice. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think for me, if I were thinking about it, I would just, by the time I go like, okay, I will have 2 options. I would just tell her, not that I don't want to take, but I don't have enough weight.
Yeah.
I would just straightforward. I don't even consider her feelings. Is because to me, it's a very practical communication. Second thing is, I will just say thank you, bring it back, and probably just explain it to my host and say, I cannot pack everything. So would you
give it
want
to my host?
Yeah, or I bless someone else with it.
Yeah.
So that is the 2-way, but it's something that is very practical for me that I don't dwell on it too long.
Right.
Yeah. Because I think when it comes to unspoken rule, this is the solution lah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's never dwelling on it because it's not your fault that you don't know the unspoken rule. I always have to tell myself, it's their unspoken rule. That's why if I break it, I should not feel bad. I should just say sorry, learn, and move on. If I feel bad, then unless they're very not understanding people, then I don't want to be friends with them also lah. Okay, put it this way. Because if I have an unspoken rule in my house and my guests come in and break the rule, cannot be I scold people what? I open the house what? And I never put a 10 commandments in my house that say, do not wash your feet in my house. But if you happen to do it, then I think the first time would be, I just explain, okay, actually, you don't do this because my house doesn't.
Right.
And then the next time they do it, then we have argument lah. But the first time, I think both parties should be understanding and forgiving about it and not think too much about this one will offend the fella, this one don't offend fella, that one offend. Wow, like that life is very hard. So in my family, we always said go to a place, whoever they're visiting. Some things my mom will say, oh, this one is definitely breaking a rule, you don't have to even try. For example, people got a whole longo of banana there. You don't suddenly suggest, hey, a lot of banana. Can I have one? That is like, the unspoken rule is you do not invite yourself to something in other people's houses unless they say you can have a banana. She looks like she's thinking. So if I
That is not my unspoken rule, lor.
Yeah, so
we're very different, huh?
so yeah, very different. So it's like, because we, for example, if people come to my house, and they see something they like, and they take it without me offering, they'll be very offensive lah. Okay, or
that's if they take it, ma.
If they suggest they want it, and then to be polite to my guests, even though I don't want to give it because it's reserved for my grandma or whatever, I also have to like give it. So our unspoken rule is always, don't make both parties uncomfortable. If it's not yours, you go to people's house, don't indicate interest that you want it. Because it will create a situation where both parties have to think about how to
Okay, fair
be
enough.
comfortable with each other.
Okay, so for me, right, one experience was where this...
But my mom won't scold me for it lah. She will just go through that one experience and say, okay, this is the thing, don't do it again.
Okay.
Which is how I learned that, okay, a lot of the unspoken rule, if we break, as long as people don't get mad about it, you just say, okay, this is first time.
And don't harp on it lah.
Yeah, then you are fine. Otherwise, you'll be like you lor, thinking 3 times, should I offend the person? Like,
but that's just me.
think it lah.
But eventually, we figured it out lah. What was I saying? So one day there was this kid who was asking whether I could give her violin lessons. I don't teach violin for one. But because they asked and it was a neighbor, so I was like, okay lah. I mean, neighbor want to come and talk about whether there's a possibility. Just talk to her, chit-chat. Okay lah, fine. So first thing kid did was, went to my fridge open.
So that's rude lor.
Yeah. Then to me it's like, hey, hello. Someone open, close, open. Find things inside there some more. Then I'm like, okay. So to me, the fridge is closed ma. If things are on the table for everybody to see.
On display.
So like you said, if there was a few bananas there, 3 or 4, then I would know, this is limited commodity. I won't ask. Let's say there was a whole tandan there, right? It's like, clearly you know there's a lot. Again, it would depend on how I know them lah, whether it's a friend or what's the level of relationship. If I had put something already for everybody to see, chances are, if you ask, I might say yes or no. So the yes would be, yeah, of course, there's so many bananas. Take. The no might be, I already measured this one because I need to make banana cake, whatever lah. I need this amount of banana. So once you take one, right, it's going to mess up my life. Literally, it's going to mess up my plans, my life, because everything's sukat already. So the reasoning behind that is, in my family also, if I had something that I didn't want you to touch, see, eat, take, I will keep it away.
Yeah, normally lah.
So the
for
fact
example,
that it's
like
there, right?
the host before you come okay, these are a few things. Not I don't want to share one. It's like high possibly I don't want to share one.
Correct. It's like this one. It's not up for grabs lah.
So it's like my uncle, during Chinese New Year, he baked his special pineapple tart. He hides it in his room. And then when some special guests come, he'll take, you take 2 pieces only, you take 2 pieces. Then if we see, we ask for it, he said, he goes back to the room. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So unspoken rule is, if it's not at the common area and if he takes it out himself, you don't make it difficult by asking him for a piece, because you can already tell he's trying to protect that treasure lah.
So I mean, there's areas lah. There's areas that is public area and there's the private area, and you paham.
But having said that, it's still quite not nice of him lah.
Yeah lah, true lah.
But yeah, it's quite interesting.
Caviar inside, truffle and caviar in the pineapple jam.
No lah, he was doing this special pineapple thing lah. That limited. Or he will go around and say, everybody 1 piece only. If you have taken, please do not touch. Like okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's quite interesting how we learn something new. I think traveling allows us to understand a lot more of the other people's unspoken rules. But having said that, not all unspoken rules are rational. And I think there's more irrational one now because of our upbringing or our generation that's coming up, who are maybe not trained or not given the chance to see things from a top bird eye view. So you just look at yourself. It's like, I need to buy something, I just bought your car. What's the problem? But they haven't been the one whose car was blocked for 2 hours. Then they will know what's the problem.
Yeah.
So I think more of that lack of top view of things that are changing, or rather make certain unwritten rule, people think, it's not relevant.
Yeah.
Actually,
awareness lah.
Yeah. A lot of the unspoken rules are actually quite relevant. I've said majority, 90% is relevant lah. Like the most annoying one is the playing music loudly in the public. Well, that is
on your phone?
That is something that all the younger generation, like, hello, it's unspoken rule lah, you don't interrupt each other. But no, the older generation do not get that.
Yeah.
Like totally like, here, I cannot hear, pull louder, someone pull louder, someone,
Correct.
you know.
Yeah.
But because during their time as they're growing up, they don't have this situation that creates the unspoken rule for them.
Okay.
So now that they're in this situation, no rules what? I already know every rules, right? Come this younger generation, like, uncle not like this one. But a lot of them, if you tell them, they're actually okay with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That if you explain the logic, for example, like there was once I was at a mama, just reading my book. This uncle came watch a drama so loud, and the drama is not the soft drama, it's got people fighting in the drama talking loud, you know. And then I was just looking at him, and he couldn't get my message. Sometimes you look at them, they're like, oh, sorry, you know. Those are the aware one, right? Then you have the unaware one that is like, you look at them, they're just like, hi. I said, wow, you play a bit so hi me, you know. So then I was like, uncle, can you soften your music, because I'm trying to read but I cannot read, or like, you know, it's a little bit too loud. A lot of them, I find 90% of the time will be okay one. Because they might not realize it.
Okay, so then my takeaway from this is sometimes the unspoken rule might need to be spoken.
Correct. It's really about that, because I think last time the communities are more herded mindset or herded growth. But now our world is individualistic, so it takes a lot more communication lah.
It's like when they say like it takes a village to raise a child, right? So we can all help. Not being judgmental and nasty about it, but just explain lah.
Correct. So actually unspoken rules are like a manual lah. But it's just that you don't have a physical book to like read. Number one,
rule
number
number
two.
one,
You
2,
just
3.
have to learn it through observation, and then it actually adds on a lot of values to our life lah. So yeah, if you can think of any unspoken rules that your family have, or you're like, Gina, Juwita, I don't know what you're talking about because my rule is different, then please let us know at the comment section.
Jom Sembang Malaysia is hosted by 2 Malaysians who are passionate about Malaysian stuff. Stay tuned every week for a brand new Sembang session with Juwita Suwito and Gina Yoong. Today's episode is recorded at Studio 2105. Remember to click like and subscribe for a brand new episode next week.